The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We'd get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As guys, I highly suggest all of you watch my most recent video, an interview with Jordan Freed, former member of Hedera, CEO of Immutable Holdings, who's partially owned by Kevin O'Leary, and founder of NFT.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe NFT.com will be potentially the future OpenSea of the crypto market. It has one of the best chances to replace OpenSea and really take over as a main hub for the NFT space, and I highly recommend all of you get informed. Now, one more update before I continue. Ladies and gentlemen, on this very YouTube channel, every single day, I will be posting daily shorts on top of your regularly scheduled YouTube content. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the best times to position your chips in a row to make sure that you make the most amount of money possible when we finally run back up. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had weeks on end where the crypto market has only been negative. That's why I believe the reversal back in the upwards direction for crypto, specifically for our altcoins, will be aggressive. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make this clear. I'm going to give you an example of how you get psychologically manipulated out of becoming a future millionaire by people who are already billionaires and trillion-dollar institutions. Goldman Sachs urged people to buy Coinbase when it was over 300, and now they're urging people to sell as the stock plunges under $50. Banks give bad advice on purpose. They simply need dumb retail investors to buy their bags for exit liquidity. That is why when I look at the total market cap of crypto and I see this move that was made here in 2021 looking oh so similar to the move that occurred here in 2017, followed by the September China ban crash. Oh guys, I know that this is a reckoning, flushing out of leverage, a stablecoin apocalypse, a macro environment that's really hell on earth. But what I have to say is this: it seems like past resistance has become current support in the total market cap of crypto. And while I still am ready, just in case things go sideways and down a little further, for potentially a nasty wick before we explode up in value, I'm always going to give you the bullish case on this market. They don't call me the Bearable Bull for no reason. I have a bullish bias in crypto, and it's because of all the information that I already know. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is an important tweet that was posted by Bloomberg today. Michael Burry, made famous by Christian Bale in the movie The Big Short, suggests that the bullwhip effect happening in the retail sector may lead to the Fed reversing rate increases and its quantitative tightening policy. Michael Burry has been right about a lot of things historically, and this is something I want all of you to know as well. I've been long preaching on my channel that the Federal Reserve cannot keep raising up interest rates. Their plan is to hyperinflate the currency into oblivion. I suspect and speculate that they'll eventually go to negative interest rates. That's right. That means if you have $100,000 in the bank and you want to withdraw cash and interest rates are at negative 2%, that's right, you lose 2% on your money. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason this is where they're going is because they want a cashless society to disincentivize cash with a central bank digital currency system, which I speculate will run on XRP and a couple other cryptos. Ladies and gentlemen, don't believe me, but it's probably still gonna happen. You don't have to like it. You just have to mentally brace for it. The Fed cannot stop inflation. And I believe, like Michael Burry does, that they will reverse course. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something else that I want to point out to all of you from XRP Crypto Wolf is that CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, has stated himself Ripple is prepared to leave the US if they did lose this XRP lawsuit. And guys, something that I always do on my channel is point out the worst case scenarios of anything possible. I've warned you about Tether. I've warned you about exchanges, taking your crypto, blackouts, food shortages, all the negative. The worst case scenario that could happen to XRP hypothetically if they did lose this case is that they go overseas and still make us rich. The US is the only victim if the SEC wins this case. That is how powerful Ripple is. It is beyond US borders. It is beyond US jurisdiction. This is a global financial takeover. And whether Brad and the crew are in Abu Dhabi, living it up in Dubai, or visiting the Queen in London, you better believe they're not going anywhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, something that I do want to point out to all of you is this very important video by Bank of International Settlements Economic Advisor Hyun Song Shin, describing XRP and on-demand liquidity's functionality. The Bank of International Settlements is the central bank of central banks. And listen to the language he's using that describes XRP. Exactly. Please take a listen.
So what this type of system enables you to do is to avoid the current practice, which is to say, if I want to make a payment to a, on behalf of my client to a supplier, on another continent, what you need to do is to hold a deposit in a bank in that jurisdiction, ideally, and then just call up the bank and say, look, debit my account and credit the account of the supplier. And if you don't have an account, you have to use a correspondent bank. And if you don't even have a correspondent bank with a deposit in that jurisdiction, you need to string along a whole host of different correspondent banks. Now, for that system to work, you need to hold balances at all of these different parts of the chain. And in a way, it's going back to the origins of supply chain financing, where the credit function and the payment function all are bundled together, and so it's incredibly intensive in terms of liquidity, and there are the operational challenges all along the chain. What this kind of platform can do is to just short circuit all of that, and of course, what you would need to do is, of course, convert some of your deposits into tokens. So you cannot avoid tying up some of your deposits somewhere, but you can just do it once, and let's say just hold it in London, and then the tokens can circulate everywhere, without having to lock up liquidity at different points around the world, together with all the other problems that go along with that. Now, how far are we from seeing these things in action? Well, we've done experiments and they work. What we need to do is to make sure that we can actually build this to scale and build it so that they have the resilience that will really, stand the test of, real world use. But the technology is pretty clear. And, this is not experimental tech.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you could hear, they have the technology. The tech works. It describes XRP's liquidity explicitly. We're targeting the Nostro Vostro capital, but they're trying to make sure it can scale and is resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, things like this take time, but right now I believe is the time, as we're approaching the biggest recession in United States history. Here, SEC Chair Gary Gensler is trying to propose a single rule book to regulate all crypto trading, and he's trying to negotiate with the CFTC to try and get him the best amount of power. Gary has stated only Bitcoin is the only crypto I'm willing to call a commodity. And while XRP, Ripple go through this lawsuit to try and bring clarity to the whole crypto space, Bitcoin continues tanking, dragging the market down. They will not approve a spot ETF yet, despite all the applications. And this is on purpose. This is to dissuade the retail investor. And they are going to come after Tether. Ladies and gentlemen, new data shows a record amount of hedge funds betting against Tether amid this Bitcoin bear market. Oh, place your bets, my friends. My bets are around USDC, as the Tether CTO is even firing warning shots, stating that traditional hedge funds are shorting Tether as well. Will they break the peg and cause a liquidity shock in the crypto market? If they do, we'll have the nastiest wick that we've ever seen in crypto happen. And that'll be the predatory buying entry points that we all need to get uber wealthy quicker than we ever expected. If this market happens to drop, that is when you become millionaires. Right now, I am accumulating as much cash as possible for a doomsday scenario to come to crypto so I could buy it up. But ladies and gentlemen, at the same time, I have had my positions and bags packed and ready to go for years. I've taken some profits towards the peak from some cryptos. Other cryptos I've held through a lot of the price action. But it's because I know what comes next. The next bullish surge in the crypto market for altcoins will be generational. I promise you, you'll never have seen anything like that before. And in the words of Tim Draper, this is going to be the biggest deal in the history of the universe. We've never seen a technology that can potentially affect this many trillion-dollar industries. And watch him as he's ironically on the stage with Gary Gensler, the current SEC chair, saying exactly this in 2018 and describing this type of regulatory environment in crypto. Ladies and gentlemen, people like Tim Draper know what 2024 say what's coming. He warned about the regulations, and he's also telling you about the life-changing wealth. Position your pennies against billionaire dollars. It's all I preach every day. Please take a listen.
I like the idea of a government that creates a great platform for everybody to participate equally. I mean, fairly and equally. Because if everybody participates, then they all have a pretty good shot at participating in this. This is going to be the biggest deal in the history of the universe. We have never seen a technology that can potentially affect this many trillion-dollar industries. Never. And this is going to be it. And you want everybody to be able to participate. So if somehow you put a law in there that says you got to be a millionaire to participate, well, that's what the law does say. That's what it says. Wait, it is what it says. First say that.
Now that right there, my friends, is an important point made by Tim Draper. The gatekeepers in the United States make sure the barrier to entry for retail investors to get into the next level, into higher tax brackets, into the new 1%. They make sure that barrier to entry is nailed tight. Ladies and gentlemen, with crypto, many millionaires have been made and freed already. With regulation is going to come a period in time where there's going to be a cutoff, in my opinion, and you will not be able to make millions as easy. Accredited investor status is going to be needed, and you better make it to the other side by godfathering yourself into the new 1% now by owning some of these digital assets. I don't give a damn what you have to do. Sell your kids, sell your wives, sell your husbands. You can buy them back later. And while I am just kidding, in all seriousness, you better understand how dire this situation is. XRP specifically is the solution to multi-trillion-dollar problems and geopolitical tensions. From Watcher Guru, Russia's central bank plans to develop a roadmap for the introduction of the digital ruble by Q4 2023. We are closer than we've ever been before to CBDC adoption with XRP's interoperability. And ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to the BRICS nations. As the BRICS nations are getting more powerful, Iran and Argentina, I believe, both applied to join the BRICS nations in a global pivot of power from the West, from the US dollar-dominated financial and global political system to a more level playing field. The collapse of the US dollar and the US are simultaneously happening with the rise of the East. And you cannot ignore what's happening on a global stage. It all ties in together. And XRP continues to be at the heart of it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, I do think that we're almost through the storm of this short-term crash in crypto. It was nasty. It may not even be done yet. But I personally expect a reversal. And you all better be ready for it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Another point you've made, and this is, I think, particularly relevant 10 years into a bull market, is that I think you said more money has been lost anticipating a downturn than actually in the downturn. Can you explain?
Well, obviously, the market's gone up tenfold since I stopped running Magellan. So you make more money on the upside. The market's going to be a lot higher in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Trying to predict the market is really a waste. I don't know what it's going to do. It can go down. When I ran Magellan, 13 years, it declined 10% or more, 9 times the market.
Wow.
I had a perfect record. I went down more than 10% every time. Wherever the market went down, I went down more. But over the long term, the upside is more than the downside. So you got to say to yourself, do I need the money in the next month? Do I need the money in the next year? Do I have kids going to college? Do I have a wedding coming up? Then you're a bad investor. If you can keep putting money in, you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 year, you should do well.